Alright, so today I'm going to start working on these exterior mirrors. Now these have been previously painted by a previous owner to match the car, which is, I don't know if it's flat black, regular black, it's terrible. So I want to get these things sanded and probably some filler on them if needed, and then paint them with the same SEM exterior black and primer prior to that. So first I need to go ahead and get them off. They're just two nuts on the inside, off the studs off the back. Driver's side, passenger side, and it's a 9mm socket. So once I get those off, let me show you how I'm going to start this process. So the process to redo your mirrors is going to be pretty simple. You know, if they're chrome, if you want to paint them black, that's fine. You scuff it, prime it, paint it. It's going to be pretty simple and comparable to the sail panels. Sanding them down, getting them prepped, and then doing them. So taking them off, it's your choice if you want to cover up this area here. You don't have to necessarily, just be cautious that you're going to get paint on it if you don't. And then the lens itself, this is just blue painter's tape. It'll keep the lens from getting paint on it, and I don't have to clean it later. And then if you need to manipulate it around, you can just push on it to get everything in there. And then you can paint inside as best you can, and then to the outside. So I'm going to start just the simpler way it was before. This is just 220 grit, and I've got my spray bottle here, so I'm just going to spray and scuff and get as much of this black paint off as I can without getting too crazy. And most of this, really, I don't think I need to put any filler on, but if you do want to put some filler on them, to do them at the same time as the sail panel, if you're going to use filler, it's a good opportunity. So once you have everything sanded, you'll notice that the mirrors themselves are going to start coming out like a dark gray, medium to dark gray, and that way you know you're down to the base, and then you're going to start seeing some wear lines through, kind of like the white right there. So that's good. You know you're about ready. Just give it a good cleaning there, and you'll notice, as you'll feel around with your finger, it's going to have a little bit of pitting in that, and that's where your filler is going to come in. So it's time to break out the filler and get mixing. All right, so once you've got your mirrors kind of sanded down and cleaned with something like a degreaser, something to just get rid of residue. A lot of days I'll just use a simple glass cleaner. Degreases, doesn't leave any residue in that. So find something you're going to put your body filler on. So I've got an old cardboard box, and it's not really the porous stuff. It's going to have a plastic coating on the outside. So this would be pretty good to mix up body filler on. So I'm going to use just basically some body filler. This is just Bondo. I bought this at Walmart last night, so it was like 12 bucks. And then it's going to have some hardener. So the instructions say for a golf ball sized tail, which you know the size of a golf ball, you put in about an inch and a quarter of filler, just aligned and put it together. Because I'm only going to do some mirrors, and then I'm right now doing the sail panels also, I'm going to use probably about half of that, really. I'm going to try it with that first, because I'm doing a lot of other stuff while I'm filming, so I want to make sure I don't put too much on there and then not able to use it and I lose it. So I'm going to put on about a half a golf ball size piece. Golf ball size hail, don't do that. Golf ball size piece, or half of that, about 3/4 of an inch or so of hardener. Mix that, and it's going to start, show you, it starts basically gray, and then the hardener itself is red. It's like a dark red. So once you mix those up, it kind of turns to a lighter pink. So when you're doing filler and paint, there's two P's to this. First is preparation, always have that. And second one is patience. Don't rush this stuff. Once the filler is on the parts themselves, let them cure out. It'll get lighter and lighter and pink, and you'll know when it's done, really when it's done, when it's light pink and there's absolutely no moisture to it, or no, cool to it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to mix it up, put on the pieces, and then going to let it cure, and I'm going to go on to other parts and other filming.
Our lips, they tasted like those cigarettes. Staring at the moon, we'd go to bed. In my arms, you're safe and sound, without a threat. And I can't wait to see what happens next. How far can we get if we sail a little bit high, a little bit low? How far can we get if we sail a little bit high, a little bit low?
Alright, so there is one of the mirrors. Now this is the worst case mirror. It had some good chunks up here and that and all. So I actually did a little bit more sanding that I didn't film. So I did some 150 grit on it. There's some areas that just really weren't coming out with 220. So I went to that. This is on there. So I did the mirrors itself with this, so you can see a little bit left on there. And then this is from a bigger kit I had, but this is just a piece of basically a real thin plastic. It just smooths it on. So just remember, as you do this, have patience with it. Make sure it's prepped, and then you're going to let this dry. So I'm going to let this dry pretty much overnight so I can make sure it's cured. I've got a lot of other stuff to do. And I don't like getting on my fingers, so I like these just nylon gloves. Just remember, anything you leave that's kind of gloppy, you can see on there, you can see some big crusties on it. That's all going to have to be sanded off once it's dry. So the more you put on, the more you're going to have to take back off. So I guess do it sparingly, just enough as you need, because, man, it's just a lot of work you're going to have to do for yourself. So I'm going to let this dry, and then it's time to sand. So once your filler has, I guess, cured on the mirrors itself, it's going to turn a nice pink like that. Now, obviously, I used a lot here, and I'm going to have to sand this back off. So I'd recommend either using 150 or the 220 grit to go over this lightly until you get it flat and smooth. Once it's there, you're going to clean it and start painting. For paint itself, I use the SEM High Build Primer. Use 3 coats of that. So I taped up just the manual assembly itself, and then I can also use the hang width to grab and to spray. So 3 light coats of the High Build Primer. Use some 400 grit sandpaper, which is this, just to lightly go over a couple areas I thought needed a touch up. And then, once it's done, like that, this is trim black from SEM. This is the standard stuff. So this matches the sunroof and the quarter sails, or the sails itself. These guys, it matches there. So that's kind of the finished product. Obviously, I need to take the tape off here as I put it together, but these are ready to go back on the car. And there's the finished product on the driver's door. So obviously, new seal, the carbon fiber wrap on that, and that actually came out pretty nice. So this is uncoated, no clear coat, and this came out pretty good. Now in these black, they're already plastic, so there are a chrome version of these on the 4i cars and even into the Aero cars, which are usually black. Pretty similar to there, just sand, prime, filler, all that stuff. Now I may be doing these as a side deal, so if you need some mirrors redone and you're unsure if you want to do it yourself, I guess contact me and let's talk about it. I may be doing sets of these and offering refurbished sets out, or maybe just on trade and a little bit of cash. So we'll see you next time, and that's it.
A little bit high, a little bit low. How far can we get if we sail a little bit high, a little bit low? We're still a little bit young.